Real excited about the win on Saturday. Guys played really well, and they're playing really hard. We've really emphasized getting off to a fast start and having a sense of urgency from the start, and I've been really pleased for the first 5 games. Our guys are really starting fast, and it tells me they're really focused, really excited about opportunities to play. You only get so many of them, and so that's the first thing that jumped out of me on Saturday is our fast start, and that's been the case the first 5 games, and really pleased with the leadership on the team, and did some really good things. Still some things obviously we need to get better at, both sides of the ball and on special teams, but those reason why you play the games and have all the corrections that we do today. So we're excited about that, but we flipped the page pretty quickly yesterday and go towards Youngstown State. Tough place to play. I think there'll be a lot of people. Night game, great environment, and we'll have our hands full. They're a really good football team. So open up for questions.
You talk about the fast start. Is that something you can sense as a coach over the years? Do you have any idea?
You hope it's partly preparation, what you do during the week of making sure that you're prepared each day. It's also guys having energy during pregame and having great focus during the morning walkthroughs, the morning meetings. I think sometimes you can sense when guys are on edge and really excited about the opportunity to get out there and compete.
It's possible the guys they lost, that they might be better on defense than what you saw last year?
Well, they're really good on defense, at all positions, and I think with their linebackers returning, I think those guys are really good football players that have been in the system an awful long time, and they had to play some other guys in the secondary last year late in the season. Those guys had the ability to get some repetitions, but I think those guys just in the system, for a number of years now, that they've been there, that they play it really fast. They know what they're doing. They have their adjustments. And they're just, there's not a weakness on their defense.
How do you think Bo turned that around, that program?
Part of it is his attitude. Part of it is his toughness. Part of it is him having the kids believe that they're going to be really good. We had Will Compton here when he came with Ben Newman, and Will plays for the Redskins but played for him at Nebraska. And he hit it on the head. He goes, those kids will run through a wall for him. He's a player's coach, and he's going to go to battle for those guys, and he does. And you can tell, they have a personality of the coaching staff in the fact that they're tough, hard-nosed, physical football team that rarely beats themselves.
Chris, how much do you think the experience of them winning 4 playoff games is carried over to 2017?
Oh, a bunch. The more games you get, the more opportunities you have in pressure situations where you have success. I think the more comfortable you are in those tight game situations. And so, they had a couple of blowouts, but then in the South Dakota State game, you could tell they just had control of the game. And even South Dakota, they were down, but you just never saw any panic, similar to what happened in the playoff game against Eastern Washington. They just didn't – there's no panic in the guys. We're not going to deviate from our game plan, and we're going to do what we do and have an opportunity to win the game in the fourth quarter, and they did have an opportunity, and that's a sign of a really good football team.
Chris, defense, you had 100 more plays on offense than you have on defense. I think 50 plays a game defensively. That's way underneath where you certainly were at this point last year with playing more guys. Do you feel like that your team is fresher right now than where you were?
Well, I hope so, because you're right. We haven't played as many plays. We're probably, we've lost some guys, so that we're a little more thin, but we're still getting some good mileage out of guys that I think, whether it's Jabril Cox and Mercadal that are playing really well. Darren Kelly made some plays on special teams on Saturday. That's probably taken a safety off of some special teams and just taken a few plays here and there. But, ideally, the best defense is your offense on the field, and if we can keep that under 60, 65 plays on defense, you always feel good. Now, there's games where we get up in the 70s, and then I think then you have your problems. But if you can play 50 plays on defense, you're gonna win a lot of games.
You preparing for both quarterbacks this week? That Wells may be back and ready to go?
Yeah, I think you have to. Some of the plays are different. I don't think the scheme is drastically different. We've looked at them for the last 3 or 4 years, probably watching film on them, and they do some things differently. based on the quarterback. They do some things differently based on playing us that maybe they don't do against some other teams. But we have to be prepared for both guys, and I don't know what'll happen. And our guys have played against both too, so that probably helps a little bit.
Chris, describe Jalen's play at Wimbush the last couple of weeks, where he's really seemed to have taken his game to another level from just the sack he had on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm pleased with Jalen because he's just understanding our defense so much better this year. He's a really confident guy, and playing corners a lot of confidence and making some plays, and he's made some plays which has given him more confidence when he's out on the field. And he's a really good field general out there. I listened to him at practice and listened to him at the Indiana State game because you could hear everything. I mean, he communicates all the time. He's really on top of his game, on top of our checks and adjustments and calling things out. But that was a really savvy play as well on the blitz to strip the football from the quarterback and come tight off the edge. And I'm really pleased with Jalen. I think it's helped him that we've moved him to nickel some because he sees the field from the inside point of view. And when you're playing corner, just the more looks you see, for him playing inside and then to be able to play outside, I think those things have helped him as far as just seeing the offense and how things work and how things develop.
The other corner spot, that was the one you were...
Yeah, but we're still playing. I mean, I know that Marquise played a number of snaps. Dom played some snaps. Even Josh Hayes and Trey Ford played some snaps. We know this. Jalen's on. I know he's on kickoff. I know he's on punt, and he's on punt defense. We don't want him to have to play 60 plays, 50 plays of defense if he's going to play those extra 20 to 25 snaps of special teams. So I think it's typically been the second or third series. Coach Klieman and Coach Shep have put in Marquise to give him a little bit of a break and have him see some things from the sideline. And I think that's helped him because we need him to be durable and we need him for the long haul. And there's no question that Jalen was wore out a little bit at the end of the season.
You haven't looked. Seemed like you haven't looked over anybody, looked past anybody, which is why is
I'm
that?
really pleased with our leadership. There's no doubt about that. The fact that we knew that the early part of our schedule we had a chance to be successful, but you always worry: are you going to take somebody for granted? Are you going to overlook somebody? Are you going to not be as prepared or as focused? And I give a lot of credit to our leadership, whether it's the seniors, the juniors, or our captains. We talk about holding each other to the high standard that is North Dakota State football, and without question, not just on Saturdays but throughout the week, they hold each other to that high standard we have. And you hear Trey and a lot of the captains talk about dominating the standard, and that's what we're trying to do on a daily basis, and it's come to fruition on Saturdays.
Probably an obvious question. You're not going to have to worry about that this week with Youngstown?
Well, if we do, we're going to get whipped. I know that. That's a really good football team. Our guys are really bright kids. They know the tall task that we have with Youngstown. Going to Youngstown, we played there 2 years ago, and it was as physical a game as we had played. They're really good up front, both sides of the ball. So. And they have good skill. So we know the tall order we have this week.
Best rushing team you've probably played all season. How important is time of possession going to be in this?
Yeah, they want to hang on to the football, and so do we. So we have to be able to create some negative plays so they're not in 2nd and 4, 2nd and 5, which they've been in an awful lot. And then it makes 3rd and 1s and 2s a lot better than the 3rd and long. So we need to find ways to stay on the field against an aggressive defense that they have, playing some man coverage, and then we have to be able to get off the field, and that really starts on first down. You can't give up the chunk plays on, for whether it's for 6 yards or whether it's, for 15, and then they're back on you so fast. And so time of possession will be a really critical factor this week.
Going to play?
We believe so. He was the emergency guy last Saturday. When the game was in hand, we played Bo Pauly, so we didn't have to use him, giving him another week. So we feel this week he'll be closer to 100%.
Jackson was able to do as much as he did already, Brown, just from being out. I mean,
with that PCL injury, that's normally a 4 to 6 week injury, and I know how hard Jackson works at his rehab and stuff, and so he was not full speed, but he did enough things that we wanted him to get into a game situation, and we're hopeful, and we're counting on the fact that he's going to get stronger as the next few weeks continue to progress with his rehab and his strength. So whether it's this week, I think we'll start him on a couple of special teams if he continues to progress and doesn't have any, he doesn't get reset or anything from last week. I haven't seen him yet today, but we're sure hopeful. We need him back because he's a really good teams player for us.
Those things too, Chris, were guys that sit out like that. How long does it take them to get their legs back too? Because there's all that whole part.
Well, I thought Nick was better this Saturday than he was the previous Saturday as far as just flying around to the football, looked faster, looked more comfortable. And, yeah, I noticed even like on Wednesday he was doing some extra wind sprints on his own, and he just said, Coach, when you're out 2 weeks, you just want to make sure that you are ready and you can last. Plus, it was a warm day there. I know it was windy, but it was mid-80s. We had Shep was cramping and stuff as well. So you definitely lose your legs if you're not out for a couple weeks.
Be back, you think, or where you stand?
No, I would doubt it, but we'll find out. His was a hamstring that happened early in the game on a kickoff, which he made a great play and knifed in there, and he kind of came up gimpy, and they said it was a hamstring, so we held him the rest of the day. We'll probably learn more this week and what he can do.
Is that a new injury?
Just happened on Saturday.
Yeah.
It was like a leg injury, like compartment syndrome, I believe it was, and he's fully healed from that.
Where does McCaster rank with Jody Webb, Martin Ruiz? I know he's not a big guy. Is he similar to those two?
Yeah, he's a different type of runner, though. He's obviously closer to Ruiz than he is Webb, but I think he's a better player than Ruiz as far as difficult to bring down one-on-one, difficult to bring down on first contact. You have to really hit your fits against these guys. They're a zone team, and you have to hit your fits, and you've got to be really good tacklers in the hole, or he's going to carry you for 3, 4, 5 yards. He's got really good speed, and he's a good one-cut vertical runner. We have to tackle better than we did last Saturday against and Booker's a really good player. Don't get me wrong, Booker's a really good player, but if we don't tackle McCaster better than we did on Saturday, he's going to have a big day against us.